Hey, I am going to be speaking some stuff, and it's literally coming from the heart with no ill intentions. So please listen thoroughly till the end before coming to a conclusion or whatever, an opinion. Whew, you ready for this? Okay, so yes, I have notes. If you think that having a kid immediately makes you grown, let me share from a shit ton of hindsight that is far from the truth. I had my first child. I got pregnant when I was 18. He was born exactly 1 year after I graduated high school while I was 19. And I took that responsibility very seriously. I had not planned for it. I was not ready for it. I was never really interested in having kids that soon. I figured, yeah, someday, but it wasn't like on the to-do list, you know what I'm saying? But I took that very seriously, and I chose to grow up very quickly from that. There was so many priorities that I shifted, so many things that I had to be like, nope, that's not important anymore. You know, going out and partying all the time. Nope, I'm a mom now. I need to stay home and take care of my kid. How I spent my money. I gotta take care of my kid. You know, there was a lot of changes that happened, but unfortunately, I also had a ton of baggage, emotional, mental, spiritual, that I wasn't even aware of at that time, and I was carrying that around with me. And I had super, super low self-love and confidence. I mean, hello, I got pregnant at 18. I was in delayed entry program for the Navy, and I had that sunk, joke. And I was immediately a single parent because the baby daddy was just an irresponsible jackass drunk and druggy. So immediately, hello. So obviously, like nowadays, that would not be how I would be. I would not be hooking up with that kind of shit. And if you think that all you need to do as a parent is to provide shelter, food, clothes, etc., you know, the basic needs, the very bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, maybe you should just, and maybe give them some discipline. You may consider just getting a dog because it is not all about that. It is so much more. Parents are parents are the first introduction for kids to the world and how they will relate to it. To back up, because I grew up in an invalidating environment where, since I was just a kid, my input didn't matter, but my mistakes were thrown in my face constantly. I was punished over and over for them, while my accomplishments like barely got even a peep. You know, it was like, ooh, good job, on to the next thing. By the way, you fucked this up, and this, and you know, your sister fucked up a bunch of shit, and you're probably gonna do it too. You know, it was not a very great upbringing for me. I was constantly warned to worry about avoiding future failure, and this just led to me having a belief that my feelings and thoughts don't matter. I grew up feeling unloved and that I was never good enough. I felt a lot of shame, depression, anxiety. Eventually, that led to a lot of panic attacks as I got older. And a really dark past in some areas when outside world circumstances got really shitty. Since stuff was already not good inside, it just got worse. I am sharing this because I didn't learn and discover all of this to share with people so that they can understand why I am the way I am. It is important to have compassion for people, to understand where they're coming from. That's really important so that we're not assholes to each other. But we cannot use that as a victim card. We cannot be living in the victim story and be like, make that excuse how we're acting now. Once you're aware of it, you have got to own responsibility for it, because only you can change it. I uncover this so that I can learn and see the thought errors that I have now from my past experiences so that I can adjust and live a happier, fuller life. And by that I mean when something goes awry, say, okay, I'm not extremely car smart, but I do have a lot of good mechanical, conceptual understanding. So imagine that you got this car, but somewhere along the line, something threw off the alignment. Some story or belief was growing early on in the process. And now every time you're trying to steer towards something, the alignment is pulling you off the road. And you constantly are finding yourself in the ditch, wondering what the fuck, and being miserable. Until you realize, okay, what happened? Oh, yeah, I had this accident or whatever, and then that threw that off. It never got fixed. But once we fix that, now we can figure out how to fix that and get it fixed. Now we can drive straight. And our alignment's great. It's the same freaking thing with the stories and beliefs that we've grown up with, the rules, the way that we think the world is a reality. When we can look back and see how we interpreted the world back then in ourselves, and we can see how that doesn't line up with how we want things to be, now it's time to be able to change those things. So you don't learn that shit so that you can go around and be like, this is my story, feel bad for me, and give me some slack. So if this hurts people's feelings, sorry, not sorry. Swipe along and find somebody else to listen to. But it's not for that. Yes, it's great to be able to share that story. You know what's inspiring about sharing those stories is how you share how that's how things were, and now these are the changes I'm making and the changes I've made. That is a story. It's not, oh my god, you should really feel bad for me and understand me and cut me lots of slack. It's a handicap. You can't do that. So it's so much more important to learn that stuff so that you're able to calm your shit and then get off that hamster wheel of WTF and finally unleash your badass. And 2 books that are amazing for that, I constantly share, are The 4 Agreements. These are amazing things to continually refer back to. And The Big Leap, because we self-sabotage ourselves. We get used to believing we live in a specific box, a reality. And when we try to strive away from that, we will give ourselves issues and problems and thoughts and beliefs and circumstances that will bring us right back down. Or it just makes that same box bigger so it feels like you've grown out of it, but really you haven't. You're still inside the silly box when really you are limitless and you should not be contained in anything. So now I gotta flip back. You gotta ask yourself, what is it gonna be? Are you gonna continue the cycle of generational dysfunction? Well, I was raised like that. I'm fine, nothing's wrong with me. Are you sure about that? Are you gonna continue the cycle of generational dysfunction, carrying this on through our children and our grandchildren? Or are you gonna be the point that breaks that cycle and cultivates a generational well-being cycle where we're continually getting better and better? Because it is my belief that it is our duty to leave this world better than when we entered it. And for us, that's just building a better community and learning how to better ourselves, which increases the better quality of the community, but also helping those coming after us to do the same, to be more self-aware, to learn self-love, to learn better compassion, to stop being fucking assholes to each other and ourselves. So if this resonates with you, hit me up, because I'm doing 3 laser focus sessions during these crazy holiday season, and I am doing it at a steal.